everyone. Thank you for joining us for the monthly commission meeting for July 7th, 2025. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is 3:34 p.m. First of all, the meeting minutes. Did everyone receive those?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and may I have a motion, or is there any changes or edits that need to be made to the minutes?
I move they be accepted as is.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the meeting minutes for June, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion carries. All right, moving on to public comment. Rachel, is there anyone here today for public comment that you can see on your list?
So I see Sherry, but I know that you were just observing last time. And then I also see Thea Young, who's got her hand raised.
All right. Okay, Ms. Young, please go ahead and give any comment. You can go ahead. Yep, we can hear you, Thea.
Sorry, I'm not sure if you're talking to me or not.
Yes, you can go ahead, and if you have anything you'd like to comment, go ahead.
Okay, I apologize. I'm on the bus. I'm just inviting the commission to the Pittsburgh Racial Justice Summit Volunteer Cookout and Potluck, which will be this Saturday at 12. For 12 to 2 at Prospect Shelter in Shenley Park. And I'm asking, the prime focus is to let people know about the summit and different ways that they can participate in it. And if people are interested, please email info@prjs.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Thea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we'll make sure that that gets circulated to the commissioners who are not here right now. Do we have anyone else who would like to provide public comment? Okay, then we can go ahead and move on to our committees. All right, so does the Finance Committee have any updates for us? Is anyone from the Finance Committee on?
So Commissioner King is our treasurer, but we do have our full 2026 budget up for vote as old business today. So I'm not sure if anyone has any further questions about anything regarding that or any other finance related matters, but beyond the budget, we don't have too much of an update right now.
Okay, great. Then let's just hold off if we don't have any other updates until we get to that news. All right. So next up, I know we also have some other new business related to the community. I'm sorry, personnel next. And do we have an update, Kyle, Commissioner Webster, on any of that?
Yeah, we have a path forward of how we're doing the evaluation process of our illustrious executive director. That process is going to be put into place here in the coming week or two. I asked that all of the commissioners just be on the lookout for an email in relation to that. We are asking for the commission to first approve the form that we're going to be circulating and then to fill out said form in order to move this process forward. So please be on the lookout for an email from me in the next few days.
Excellent, thank you so much. And I think that's it for personnel. So if we want to move on to community relations, I know we have some information to discuss in our new business as well. But if anyone would like to give a brief update of our last meeting, I think Commissioner Gibson, you ran that one. So if you want to go ahead.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me, Genevieve?
Oh, yes. Yes, I was.
Your voice
Would you like
broke
to?
up, so I didn't hear what you wanted from me.
Yeah, I'm sitting in rain, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so do you have an update for the community relations meeting, which I know we're going to discuss a little bit of it later. Well, so if you
Yeah,
you want to.
why don't we just discuss it then?
Okay, that sounds great. All right, then the community relation did meet, and we will discuss that a little bit later about what we discussed in that meeting. Okay, next up, I'm going to pass it over to Director Shepherd and give the director's report. Thank you.
All right, juggling getting unmuted and then getting down to the report itself. Thank you for your patience. Oh, there's the budget.
I was having a hard time getting unmuted when it was time for me to speak as well. So
seems to be some sort of delay.
Yeah, there seems to be a delay for everyone. So yeah, we've all been there. All right. All right. So for personnel and administration, we noted a couple of different things. First was that Councilperson Warwick reached out to us to coordinate some legislation to more explicitly protect the community, our gender identity and expression in the medical field. This was introduced on the 24th, and Chris sat in for standing committee last week and answered some questions for council. Chris, I don't know if you want to share anything about that. If not, that's fine, but.
The new protections passed unanimously, so.
Yeah, so they should be going. So that was the discussion portion of council, and then we have tomorrow the final vote on those. So we should be moving forward. But again, this is anyone who's being denied medical care that they're electing to have solely on the basis that they are of a real or perceived gender identity or expression that doesn't jive with that particular provider. So that's where we are with that one right now. And then Councilperson Charlotte had actually contacted us earlier in the month because they were getting some inquiries related to the rental registry and folks being evicted based on the fact that the landlords that had signed up for the rental registry and had undergone some of the inspections they were just evicting folks because they had to make repairs, even if the repairs didn't require the people to actually vacate the premises. So we are looking a little bit further into that. One of the AFFH task force recommendations was good cause eviction. So we're looking a little bit more at that now, resurrecting that from 2019 when it was the original recommendation that was proposed. Here are our cases in enforcement, still around 42 open investigations. We've got a higher number of pending intakes again because we are taking on transfer cases from the EEOC that require additional intake, and we have been taking on additional intakes that we transfer to the EEOC that are outside of our physical geographical jurisdiction. So we've got a higher number there. Only 7 are waiting response and assignment to investigation, so that's good. Our mandatory conciliations are also still hovering around 11 because we've been stalled out on a few of those cases for various reasons, just not anything that's typical. But we're moving forward on those as we can. We do still have 4 cases in court, although we are seeing some movement on those finally and looking to settle a few of them if we can. And then 2 cases on the public hearing track, which we are right now working on the pre-hearing scheduling conferences. So public hearing section, please watch out for an email from me to try and coordinate for our next meeting so that we can identify some dates for public hearings in the coming months. And then we've got compliance review, which will meet after this regular commission meeting. They had only 7 determinations this month, but that's, only building on the fact that we will have another couple of weeks to prep for our next compliance review in August. So we should have some additional cases to close in August. But also on that note, I was able to find out today from our EEOC representative that we have exceeded the contracted number of cases that we had for this year, including the extra cases that we had upward modified to. So we had elected to move from 50 cases to 57. for completed investigations. We now have 66 that are pending credit. So we're 56 of those are actually like confirmed credit. So we're waiting on some credit for the other ones. And then, like I said, we have compliance review today, and we also have compliance review in August to add some additional cases. So at the end of our case processing year for employment, we could very well see probably the highest number of credited cases in the last decade. So
Congratulations.
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. No, this is all the commission staff have been really working. We've got a full staff. We've had a full staff since October, so it's been going really well. We've been able to take these cases, and this is in addition to the intakes that the staff are also taking on that are not coming to us for actual investigation, but are getting transferred out. So I really do give it to the investigators. They've been able to process very effectively in the last year. So thank you all for that. I also wanted to highlight that we conducted 3 trainings to fulfill settlement agreement requirements in the last month. I've been doing a little bit more heavy leaning on the monitoring for our cases. And one of the biggest things that's difficult is trying to get those scheduled. So we did get 3 of them completed. And then we have our fair housing training that is scheduled for August 15th so that we can try to get some additional folks in to complete their agreement requirements. So moving to meetings and new connections, I was able to connect with some folks from Eradicate Hate to discuss the work of the commission, how they can connect us with other working groups. We are going to have a table at the Eradicate Hate Summit in September, which is great for us. It'll be a really great opportunity for us to network with other like-minded individuals. Additionally, I was able to have a conversation with Jacob from Allegheny County about the updates to the county commission. They are hiring for their executive director currently. So that's very exciting. We've been posting that everywhere, really hoping to give them a good pool of applicants to choose from. And I can't wait to work with them in the future. Courtney was able to get me connected with Robbie Dixon from the Pennsylvania Apartment Association. We were going to coordinate some topic-specific webinars that the commission could offer on some of the local protections here so that we can, get a little bit more information to their members in addition to their standard fair housing training that they already give. I met Matthew Forth from Keystone Development Center at the
Oh, I didn't want to get out in the rain.
I met him over at the PCRG Summit about cooperatives of all things and how the commission can provide some training for the employment cooperatives because I imagine that it might become more of an issue as the cooperatives are developing, that they have some employment discrimination issues, particularly when they're considering who to bring into the cooperative, and what the criteria is around that. So we're looking to get a little bit more information to their director and then make a decision on whether we'll be able to move forward with that. But I'm also able to get them connected with some other agencies here in Pittsburgh that might benefit from their expertise in developing cooperatives. So really just a good effort on that front all around. On the 24th, there's that press conference on June 24th to introduce the multiple pieces of legislation from Councilperson Warwick, including our gender identity and expression medical care. I was connected with Kelsey Lee from Pittsburgh Action Against Rape Bar, and we're working on getting a training for their staff so that they will know better about how to refer people to the commission, depending on what kind of situation they are in. Again, looking primarily at things like domestic violence and sexual harassment, things like that. Also at the June 24th press conference, I was connected with Nikki Ripley and Dina Stanley, also from Trans Uniting, and they are looking to have some sort of town hall with the LGBT plus community so that we can have more of a Q&A about what their rights actually are here in the city of Pittsburgh, how they can take action on certain things, and just give more of an opportunity for the community just to ask questions where there are not usually forums set up specifically for them to do that. So we haven't connected again yet, but I'm working on getting that done. And then also we have a meeting set up for, I think it's actually this week now to shift it, but with Maggie from the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh we wanted to work with them to try and train their students. They have, they're actively working with folks that are training in the trades, and they may need some additional direction on how to spot discrimination in a space like that, where they may be treated a bit differently because they're considered green to the field. They're coming in as the new person, and we want to make sure that they know what the difference is between, okay, hey, this is kind of, par for the course, or if this is actually something discriminatory that they should watch out for. So looking forward to finally making that connection. It's been a while. For that one. With education and outreach, we did that presentation for Allegheny County Health Department. Their entire staff was there, so it's about 30 people. And they see a lot of folks with like housing habitability issues that maybe don't rise to the level of an actual code violation. But for folks with a disability, it might rise to a level of discrimination. So we were already in their tenant resource guide, but we've made the connection with them so they know exactly what to do and how to contact us and like what situation is actually appropriate, because again, human relations, a lot of people don't know what that is. So now they do. Oh, that's an unfinished thought. That's lovely. Sorry, y'all. So Chris actually took on a presentation for me for Center for Victims on the city's domestic violence protections, and that was a very productive conversation I heard. That was another one that had been planned some months ago, and we were able to, again, give their staff a heads up on what our domestic violence protections are and things that they can either call to ask us questions about or when they can refer people to the commission. We participated in Juneteenth, the 19th through the 22nd. The 19th was very busy, and we held a raffle, and that thought that should be finished there. I should say that we were requiring people to sign up for our commission newsletter. It's an e-blast newsletter that we use with MailChimp, just to get the word out about commission events and different protections, etc. So
Manny, come here. Manny, come over here.
Hang on a second. We required people to sign up for the newsletter to be entered in that raffle, and they got to win either a rainbow water sling, a Juneteenth themed crocheted bag, or a book called Freedom to Discriminate. So we actually got those out. Thank you, Courtney, for sending all that stuff out to those people who we did the raffle for. And then upcoming, we will have, we've been invited to District 3's Knoxville Block Party in September. So we'll be tabling at that, which is another good opportunity for us to interact with the community. Honestly, of all the city and the streets that I recall from last year, Knoxville is the one that comes to mind the most, because it was the most pleasant to be at. Not to knock any other neighborhood, but I do think that one was particularly effective, and I remember having some really good conversations. So hoping for something similar again this time. In special projects, we're still working on the rules and regulations. I do have a solid draft now to get to our solicitor and to any commissioners that are interested in participating in that. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Gibson, I see your hand. Oh, you're muted.
When you're done, I had a comment, so.
Oh, apologies. Okay. Yeah, so we're finalizing the rules and regulations. Again, there were a lot of edits that had been already in there from a few years ago that we hadn't been able to actually implement, but we're looking to do that now and make things a bit clearer so that both complainants and respondents can look at our rules and regulations and understand the process a little bit better. And then we've been discussing, Chris has been discussing end of term priorities with the administration, specifically Jake Pollock. We want to try to get a full roster of commissioners and add some protections to the city code. So we're looking at finally adding criminal history, mandating an individualized assessment for people in the housing space so that they can be looked at as an individual and not just, have these blanket policies regarding criminal history to shut them out of potential housing opportunities. And then Rita is working on commercial property, which would be a fairly easy lift to add to our housing portion of the code, where we're looking at not just residential housing, but landlord-tenant relationships for commercial spaces, And it's a lot of the same language that we would apply there. So it should be a fairly simple transition. Oh, I'm forgetting the last one. What am I forgetting?
What's that?
What am I forgetting? The criminal history, commercial property,
Housing status.
the housing status. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It's been hard getting my head screwed back on after the long weekend, y'all. Yeah, we're looking at adding housing status as well. Again, that's for the folks that are unhoused, maybe coming from a medical facility, maybe you're couch surfing, etc. Looking to drive all of these home before the end of the year so that we can better protect Pittsburghers moving into 2026. And then last, just a couple of upcoming events for everyone. So our employment discrimination, the administrative process training, it is a CLE, it is free CLE credits for any attorneys that need continued legal education credits. So please share that with anyone who might be in the civil rights space doing employment law, because we can share how to better work with the commission and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and how we work together. And then the Fair Housing for Landlords training in August. Again, it says fair housing for landlords, but it's really for everyone, anyone who is interested in what their fair housing rights and responsibilities are here in the city of Pittsburgh. We do specifically get into the Pittsburgh protections and some of the things like exemptions that maybe don't apply here in Pittsburgh. And that's going to be down in the Cohatch at Southside Works. I mentioned the Eradicate Hate Summit already. Again, if anyone needs to register for that and has any questions, please contact Courtney. I know I've seen some emails go out about that already. And then the IORA conference. So this is, again, the International Association of Official Human Rights Agencies conference. It's an excellent conference. They have this annually. It's always the same time in August. And it was going to be held in Philadelphia this year. They did send an email to reschedule this to early October, and they're moving it to Anchorage, Alaska. So anyone who may be interested still in participating in that, maybe you couldn't do the August dates, maybe, October's better for you, etc. Please let me know. We'll see what's feasible with our training funding, etc. But we did know that Anchorage was next on the list. So when the Pennsylvania Commission wasn't able to fulfill the Philadelphia location for whatever reason. And it's a lot to coordinate an IORA conference. It did get shifted to Anchorage. So that's the biggest update that we have. Yeah, and Commissioner Gibson, you had a comment.
Well, I didn't hear you comment on the July 1st gathering at the city county building that the mayor spoke at and you spoke at, and I didn't know if that needed to be in your report.
That's a good call. I was trying so hard to get this packet out that I did not update the director's report after that event. But yes, we did have our 70th anniversary press conference on July 1st out on the portico at noon. I'm sorry, July 1st. Oh my gosh, my brain is just not back together yet. So on July 1st, there also happened to be a press conference scheduled for public safety. They were going to be going through lots of different things for the 4th of July weekend and all the safety that's required to, hold events like that here in Pittsburgh. So they were having their event. There was also the Stop the Violence legislation on council's agenda. So it was very busy up there. So it wasn't the most attended event that we've ever had, but I'm still very thankful for the commissioners that showed up, that committed, that wanted to be there, and couldn't for some reason. Like it's totally fine. We're here. We haven't gotten a ton of attention in recent years, but we're working on that. And I feel like we are really making strides to get the commission out in the public eye and make sure that people know that we are here as a resource. We're having people that have never referred cases to us start referring cases to us. We were making connections with entities that we've not worked with before. And I feel like it's progress, and the people that were out there on the portico that day, a lot of them were, friends and collaborators, people that have worked with us before, people that are doing similar work, and people that really get it. And it was nice to see that. It was nice to see, even if it was a small crowd, it was still there for us. And I do appreciate that. And thanks to all the staff that also came out or prepared for that event. Courtney put together some really cool historical boards for us just to highlight some of the protections for the commission and any some bigger events. And I think they're great. I've just kind of set them up in the office for us so that they'll be out in the public eye because they deserve to be seen. These are things that we should be proud of. We've made a lot of progress here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, I know this wasn't on the new events because I told you about it the same day that I saw you on July 1st. The John Lewis Day of Action, which is commemorating, talking about civil rights. Hopefully we can bring those boards to that event as well and connect with more folks to get the word out about the commission.
Yeah, for sure. And if anybody else has any other sort of events that they are aware of, that they think that we might be able to have some kind of a table at, please let us know. Like, we really want to be able to get out there in different neighborhoods, in places that we haven't been before, and have those conversations with the community so that they know that we're here and that we can support them. And Rita, I see your hand is raised.
Speaking of amazing events that we can attend as the commission, I'm working on getting us a table space for Little Italy Days, and that's August 14th through the 18th if commissioners are interested in showing up. By all means, you can just also come hang out with me in Bloomfield, which is always a good time. So I just wanted to put it out there so people have it on their calendar, or if they regularly stop by, they know to look for the table.
Yeah, thanks. Because by the time we have our next commission meeting, that one will be in full swing as well. We're about to finish up. So yeah, thank you both for the reminders on the events that did not make it to my report. This is what happens when I'm trying to cram before a family vacation. So apologies for that. Did anybody else have any comments or questions on anything that came up on my report?
All right, I'm not seeing any hands raised, so that means that we can move on to old business. And Rachel, don't worry about it. I think I told you about that event after you had already sent out the report, so no worries on that. So moving on to old business, we have the 2026 budget, which everyone should have reviewed by this point.
Oh my God. So this is again my bad, and this is what happens when I try to cram before a meeting or before a vacation, is that this vote on the 2026 budget does not have to be, that's not associated with that link. That is the executive committee election. So we do need to do both of those things. Let's tackle the budget first. But anyone who is a commissioner, please see if that link works for you. It should be accessible through the agenda. If you need me to text it, let me know. But we do need to get that executive committee election completed. We're already about a month overboard, but yeah, I think we should probably talk through the 2026 budget first. I know we did a little bit of that. Carlene did a great job last month of going through the explanation of what we're asking for. But if anyone has any questions based on the attachments to the agenda, now is a great time to ask your questions.
I just actually have one thing about the link for the elections. I know we're not quite there yet, but can you make sure you text that to all of the commissioners just so that they can see it? Because I feel like that's probably the best way to get in front of their eyes.
Yes.
Okay, back to the budget. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Does anyone have any? Oh, okay. So you're gonna walk us through, right?
All right. We do have the full memo for the, and this is the draft memo that we're sending to the administration. Again, we're doing two proposals, hoping that they will just choose between the two of these and we can move forward instead of giving them a full slate of asks and then having them either pick and choose or choose none. So for this first one, again, we're trying to add a community liaison position. This is based on an existing position, so it should be fairly easy to get in the budget, which is great. There's also already community liaisons in the city's roster. So again, fairly easy to get that one done if they choose that we are worthy of adding another position. Also, the lead investigator position, this one might be a little bit tougher. There is another lead investigator position within city government. So that's also another semi-easy lift, but it's an addition of another union position, which may be a little bit tougher. So we'll see how they go with that one. That would be excellent to have. It would really help with our looking at the community tension issues, systemic issues, being able to better guide the investigators that we already have with like navigating maybe tough cases, et cetera. So looking forward to that, hopefully if we can get that done. We are looking to update the salary for our fiscal and contracting coordinator, that is Courtney, because she's getting paid at a wage that's not equitable to other departments. So we want to make sure that that's being done and that that's taken care of. And then we're asking for a part-time budget. We wanted to ask for an additional $5,000. Right now, that $5,000 gets us an intern for maybe a semester. So we would like to add to that another $5,000 so that we could at least potentially keep somebody on for 2 semesters of the year, because these are college interns that we're talking about. So hopefully with all of these requests, and this again is like a total ask of just under like $200,000. And then the other ask has similar requests: lead investigator, community liaison. We did want to add an additional investigator position as well, because we're finding, you know, with spreading out the intakes, and especially the intake only type cases, with all of the additional investigations we're seeing, with the uptick in cases that we're closing, another investigator would be useful, absolutely. Again, updated salary for the FCC. And this increase in the part-time budget, we're asking for a little bit more so that we could just bring on a part-time person just in general. Again, this could very well be another college age person who is looking to get their feet wet with civil rights and law enforcement, et cetera. And we could do that at $25,000. So again, like this is again closer to 300,000, but we're going to give them the option. It looks like they'll be scheduling the meetings with the budget office between, I think it's later this month, so like the last week of July through the middle of August. So if anyone is interested in participating in that meeting, please do. I'll let you know whenever it is scheduled for us. Unfortunately, our meeting tends to get rescheduled quite a few times, but we'll see if it sticks this time. The other piece of this is our operating budget line. So like that's the salary rosters. These are the proposals with all of the numbers, all of the categories, the different salary rates. So this is what we have to prepare and present to the budget office every year. And then in addition, this is our like small operating budget that we get for things like advertising and language access. Our solicitor budget is in here, etc. We're not asking for anything there this year. It's going to be completely neutral changes, just shifting from one line to another. So again, salary is the big thing this year. Adding positions is the big thing this year. And with that, I'll see if anyone's got any questions on any of that.
Can you enlarge the numbers for old people?
On this page right here.
Oh, that's better. Thank you.
Yes.
Especially the page above it.
Yeah, that one is very small. We had to cram a couple of different charts in there, and again, trying to fit in all the different positions with all the different salary, what do they call them? The step grades, that's what they call them. So with all the different step grades, making sure that we have all the accurate information in there for them so that they can make the best decision possible, with doing as little lifting as possible.
Thank you.
Try to get that one to you all now.
I have 2 things. One is when you scroll through, check the spelling of the word maintenance on this document.
Okay.
And we're talking about $100,000 difference between proposal 1 and proposal 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have they given us any guidance in terms of what the limit will be for proposals from departments? Like, you know, you can't raise it no more than $5,000, you know, 10% of your previous budget have we gotten any guidance in that respect?
We have not. In past, like last year, it was basically don't ask for anything. That was the tone was just don't ask for anything because there is no money. It's not likely to happen. We made the very smallest of asks last year and they did not consider it. So that was last year. Again, this year, we're taking a slightly different approach with just asking for what it is that we would like to see and letting them know this is where we are. This is important to us and this is what we'd like to see, and just giving them a couple options so that they can see how much they want to invest in the commission for this year. But yeah, they haven't given us any sort of dollar limit, percentage of increase limit, any of that. And we'll have the opportunity to explain both positions when we go to that budget meeting.
Yeah, I think that, and more than likely they will have the information in terms of what the current budget is. Um, I think we should look at some document which compares the three or the two proposals and what we currently have. Um, so we can see, how much money they can see, how much additional dollars we're asking for and what our rationale is. But you know, it's a lot of money for
Yes.
an increase.
Yes.
Um,
And we're not expecting, the intention is to give them the options so that they can, weigh what these different things would mean to us as a commission. And we can present to them like on, hey, this proposal one, like adding a part-time allowance, this is what it's going to get us. Adding a community liaison, which is something that we've been asking for in various ways for years now and just not getting any kind of traction. Continuing to ask for it is important. We want to show them that we're actually focused on this. And then with the lead investigator position, because they can see us in the public eye this year, adding protections, working with council members and trying to elevate the work of the commission and the laws that we're enforcing. And we need extra power to do that. So there is genuine reason behind all of this. These are not frivolous asks in any way, shape, or form. And I hope to drive that home for them. And when we consulted our budget analysts, they did say that it would be better for us to prepare it this way this year, is to just give the options, give two proposals. Because we are, with this piece right here where we're showing on the left-hand side, this is where we're currently at with the commission's budget, with what we're looking at here. And this is all public information. And then on the right is proposal one, where we're talking about, okay, this is what would happen if we add it. So if we add those other positions in, so they get everything very, very clearly. And the other piece is that we have to connect these to, well, in prior years, we would have to connect them to the administration's priorities. And so much of what the commission does actually fall in line with what the mayor's priorities are. If you're looking at even from the very beginning, like having safe communities and the things that we're looking to add on with our community tension, and with the adding of protections, and we've been seeing additional civil rights cases, and we're getting traction that we've never gotten before. And I'm really hoping that this year will be a year. They did say that we're on their radar. And that's not something that I've heard before in budget negotiations. So I'm hopeful.
I apologize. I'm on my phone today and it keeps going to safe driver mode. So that's why I'm having my problems. I figured it out. But first I wanted to say, of course, yes, I would like to be a part of a budget meeting. But I think with what's going on in the current climate, especially with the country's laws going so far against DEA issues, I think that the ask is kind of small. Myself.
Yeah, we shift back and forth through the years with, asking for a new position, if we're asking for additional dollars in our operating budget so that we can maybe contract out for various services. Like we have our strategic planning contract right now that comes through our general fund budget. We have the general solicitor that we've increased the amount of that over the years, depending on how much legal support we need. So it's very, it can be very different year to year. And like I said, this year, we're looking at an operating budget ask of 0, beyond the salaries, because we just don't need anything there. We're getting the support from our trust funds, from our case processing. We still have the support of our federal partners. We still have those work sharing agreements. So I'm not concerned so much about like the spending money when it comes to things like ads and training and things like that. Like, obviously, we would love to increase certain pieces, but it's less important than the manpower. The manpower of the commission is really its strongest. It's just the strongest piece of what the commission does, because having more people to go out and do this work and to spread the word and to process things faster will get people remedies in a faster way and ultimately benefit more people. Yes, Commissioner.
So are we voting on one proposal or the other? What are we voting on?
We are asking for you to vote on the whole of everything that was included as the package to be submitted to the city budget office.
So we want the council to decide between the two proposals. I just want to be clear.
Yes. Yeah, we need approval from the commissioners to move forward with submitting everything that we've shared with you so that the city can then consider it and make a decision.
I have one question, Rachel. So we're putting these proposals in together, proposal 1, proposal 2, right?
Right.
And the first one has everything we want, and the second one has sort of a pared down version of that, correct?
Yeah.
And so is there a reason we're not just going with the big one, and then if they say, oh, we can't do that, then being like, fine, here's our concession?
To be candid, it's usually easier to have them just choose between proposals than it is to have them pick and choose between pieces of the proposal. That's getting a little too deep in the weeds of, I think, the ask that we're making. So it tends to not be done that way. But Rita, I saw your hand was up. Did you have something else to add?
I was just going to add that it is easier for decision makers to choose between A and B than it is to formulate or compound a solution. And this was why that had been discussed at staff meetings, for whatever help that might be to commissioners, and certainly in no way divergent from Director Shepherd.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I understand giving people options too, but if I'm just looking at these two and I'm thinking, oh man, our operating budget, I'm just going to go with the cheaper one, you know? So I think just really highlighting the things that we need to do, I guess that's what the second one is, right? So, or the first.
The first one, I believe, is the cheaper one, is it?
Yeah, the first one is the cheaper. Yeah, that's
well,
that's
and
what I
it's
need.
the one that covers everything that we really need. So
Yeah.
bonus for us.
Yeah, not that I'm inclined to make more work for anyone, but could you make like a super duper one? So the middle one seems like, it's like the old marketing trick, right? Give people 3 options.
I want to point out that the philosophy here is that what we really want is proposal 1. Proposal 2 is there to make proposal 1 more attractive.
Okay. So we are already taking that approach. All right. Sounds good.
Don't get me wrong. If they give us proposal 2, wonderful. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, if we were really going to go all out with it, I think, definitely proposal 2 would reflect, some of the staff needs. I don't know that we would have stopped there. We probably would have kept going a little bit with the staff.
Mhm.
Then it starts getting a little unwieldy in that we're a staff of 8 right now.
Mhm.
9 with our college intern, and they would be adding on, an additional 3 to 4 positions. And, that's a huge chunk compared to some of the other departments that are asking for similar ads. So
I would love to get us back up to the 12 investigators we had 20 years ago, but one thing at a time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. That was the only question I had. Does anyone else have any questions?
I move we accept the proposal.
Thank you. May I have a second? I believe Commissioner King seconded. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. All in favor of accepting this proposal to put forward to council, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, and anyone abstaining, which I don't know why they would, but all right, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, on to,
We have to do the election, right?
oh, we do have to do the election. Thank
did
you.
send that link. It's not the same link, but it gets you the same place.
Okay, let me see here. I do not have a link here on my phone. I'm sorry, I can't join this. Oh, well, actually, I can join this from my laptop. I'm back home now, so let me see if I can get on here.
Can we just submit our ballots, the one if we have it up?
Yes, yeah, you can go ahead at any time. If this is
Great.
based on the nominations that I received.
Done. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry, Rachel. What is the ballot that
This-
Rabbi Gibson was just referencing?
Yeah, this is for the executive committee election for 2025 to 26. Oops.
I know that. My question is there was there a ballot circulated that I just missed?
There was a link circulated. It's on the agenda that I emailed out. So the one that's on the screen there, that's in everyone's meeting packet that was circulated, but also I texted it out to what I think is everybody. I'm pretty sure I have everybody on here. Yep, and I do have you on here, so I tested that to see that it works, but let me copy and send to you specifically.
Where at?
Okay. All right, Commissioner Webster, let me know if you got that.
I did just get a text from you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that went through on the texts, the original link.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as well, and I don't see it.
I see a thing that says executive committee vote, and then there's not a link after.
Gosh, that's so weird. Okay, it's like, yeah, it's doing some kind of like Google shortcut or something here, and I don't want that. I just want the link to be there, y'all. No, I just want the link. I copied. Okay, convert to text link. Here we go. Technology tried to make it easier for us, and it did not work out that way. So the text link should be there for you now.
Thanks, Rachel. Sorry about that.
No, this is just the nature of how it works. It's okay.
And just to confirm, I mean, I just voted, but like everyone who's nominated for stuff wants what they're nominated for, right? Like they all accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I'm not seeing that. You know what? I'm gonna go to my
See,
I'm gonna go to my email, pull up this and see. Oh, wait, no, I got it. It just took a minute to get here.
So you got it in text message?
Yes.
Let me refresh maybe.
I would like to say that this is not any less chaotic than the in-person voting used to be. So
That's hilarious.
it is just this way. But this is how we get our lovely executive committee and move forward. And then, just as a reminder, in September, we'll be looking at the committees and sections. So if anyone is interested in switching to a different section, or maybe restarting the Justice and Equity Committee, et cetera, we can look at those things too. Not to add too much food for thought right now.
We're not supposed to stuff the ballot box, right? We're just supposed to do it once. I'm kidding.
Last ones.
Absolutely kidding. That's terrible considering I do all that stuff for the league too.
It's pretty good at stopping you. I'm pretty sure that it will just make you go back and edit what you've already submitted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, you have voter protection in place. Good job. Is there anyone who still needs the link on the?
I do.
Okay. Commissioner Morris needs the link. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I'm still having some difficulty.
It took a minute for it to get to me.
Harleen King as well, please.
Gotcha.
If anybody is struggling with it or for future reference, you can take a screenshot or a photo, go to your photos and press down the image of where the link is, at least on iPhone, and it will open up the link for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Ways Flint.
That is not a hack that I was aware of, but
I did not know that, so we're very glad to have you on to provide that.
Okay, yep.
And then Rachel, will you know when voting has closed?
Yes, I am tracking the votes as they come in.
Okay, wonderful.
Are there any surprises?
Big upsets. Guess what, Commissioner Webster? You're the new chair. Just kidding.
If elected, I will not serve.
If Elon Musk won, I'm resigning from the commission.
Likewise.
I will give props to Commissioner Morris for stepping up in like his second or third month of being on the commission.
Oh, this is his second time round. That's why.
That's
he knows
true.
what's up. He was kind enough to come back to us.
Yeah, that is true.
We do not take that for granted.
And while we are giving people props for staying on, Commissioner Gibson is also extending some of his time. His term is almost up, or is it up now? I don't know, Rabbi.
I think October is when it ended. It's supposed to end.
Yeah, well, haha, you're never getting rid of us.
You're stuck with me.
Good.
I am completed.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner King.
I'm finished as well.
Great. And I'll just let Director Shepherd, once you have that information for us, I will let you take the floor. And by floor, I mean just talk again.
All right. We are here. All right, I've got 7 commissioners on this call, but they only have 6 responses. And I have a sneaking suspicion it's because someone of them may not be able to go on the phone now.
I'm gonna try it again.
We were told to put our name in, so you should be able to see who it is, right?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm texting the person that needs to.
Oh, you don't want to publicly shame them. I get it.
No. No, I'm trying not to do that. Ever. All right. Let's see.
Did you get it? It says your response has been recorded.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey.
Did it.
Oh, it did enter yours twice, Commissioner Morris.
Okay,
Left
so
in the ballot box for himself.
that's right. Needed that extra vote, man.
Okay, we're almost there, everybody.
Excuse me.
For the benefit for our extremely popular audience on YouTube, we are awaiting the results of our executive committee budget or our executive committee nominations for next year, so 2025 to 2026.
It's
How we do
from,
that?
yeah, it goes into effect now through June of 2026 when we have the next election. I know there are just so many people on the edge of their seat right now.
I know, and I don't want any of our YouTube followers to be just thinking we're on dead air,
I was gonna say, I mean, Rachel, could we just vote right now for like the next 5 years and just like secure them in so we don't have to do this
In
again?
perpetuity.
Yeah, trust me, I've been through the election process so many times and that I would love to be able to do that and just be like, all right, everybody good?
Webster, we have no kings here.
No kings.
Oh, is it me? Am I the problem again?
No, you're not. No, you're not. So
Oh,
no one's a problem. It just takes time. So why don't we move forward with new business and
All
then
right.
announce? Does that sound okay?
So part of the new business that we were discussing on the community relations was some of the community tension that's been happening. And so I'm going to pass it over to Commissioner Gibson to discuss, to give us an update on that.
Well, as I told the committee, I'm acutely aware that I'm the only Jewish representative on the commission, and some of the issues in my community are probably not well known to the commission at large. There have been attacks in the Jewish community over the last year, verbal, vandalizing, and leafleting. Some of the attacks in Boulder and Washington, D.C. have deeply shaken people, triggered them as to the memories of the Tree of Life shooting. And what I told the committee members was, if you have Jewish friends, you might call them because many of them are simply not okay. It is not okay what's going on. And I had proposed, depending on the will of the commission, and you don't have to approve this now, but if you wanted to, as early as August, I would invite the head of security for the Jewish community. Her name is Sean Brokos. She works for the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh, to come and just kind of explain some basic facts about how the Jewish community is laid out in the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the only mid-sized city in the country where the Jewish community basically held in the city limits and didn't simply filter out to suburbs. Most people don't know that between 22 and 24% of the Jewish community in Pittsburgh lives under the poverty line. And that the fears that we have, because we're in such a concentrated area, it makes us a target. And I wanted to propose, again, depending on the interest of the commission, that either Sean Brokos or Laura Cherner, who heads the Community Relations Council for the Federation of Greater Pittsburgh, be invited as a guest. My hope was that we could actually meet in person. I know that's difficult for some, impossible for others. But I simply wanted to let people, A, know about the concern in my community about our well-being, and B, propose a learning session so people could be more thoughtful about how the Jewish community is seen and portrayed, especially in the light of conflating issues concerning Israel and how Jews live their lives here in Pittsburgh. Thank you.
So one of the things that we discussed during that meeting was having one of our community meetings, our public community meetings, similar to the one that we had in the North Side. That was our last in-person meeting. So Rachel, did you want to add some of that? I think we were going to bring it to the commission to propose to put our next meeting in the public and right in that community.
And possibly the Jewish Community Center itself at Forbes and Murray would be honored to host such a meeting, and I would arrange the particulars of that.
Yeah, I think we're typically, holding 1 to 2 community-based commission meetings per year. The next one that we have a little bit more time to prep and plan and secure a location and speaker, et cetera. So I think if we were going to do this, the August meeting would be ideal for it. And I do agree with the location and trying to invite the members of that community to come and provide some public comment to us as well, because I would really like to hear from the members themselves if they feel safe enough to come out to speak to us, to share what's going on. And see if there's any way that we can learn more or be able to assist. So
Does anyone have any
go ahead.
questions or just thoughts about moving the meeting next month to the public setting? And specifically bringing our guest speakers in to do a bit of a presentation.
I would agree that we should do it, but I think that we should also think about expanding these public meetings to cover other folk. Our Hispanic community members are under tremendous attack. And so when we start down this path, we may want to put in the queue other meetings that will take place after this one.
I strongly agree with that sentiment, and certainly was in touch with Monica who's head of Casa San Jose after the arrest of the 17 employees of Tepache Mexican restaurant in Cranberry. They are actually, more terrified than the Jewish community is right now, because we go from incident to incident, and there's a concerted effort by ICE, which is terrorizing the Hispanic community.
Well, and I think there's also a tie there too, right? The Jewish community knows what it's like to have people show up and start rounding you up. And so I think there's a shared experience in that, and that we need to address as a community as well.
Thank you.
I also would just put out there, and I'm going to recognize the hypocrisy of me saying this. When we have these in-person meetings, I really do think the commissioners need to commit to and make a diligent effort to show up in person, which I know, again, as someone who has literally been to one in-person commission meeting since I joined the commission 2 years ago, I need to do so, but I really do think that it's important for us to be in the community, and that does mandate that we be physically present in the community as commissioners.
I would also agree with that. And in that case, I think we would do what we did last time when we did the in-person meeting, where we would move it later into the evening so that people who are working daytime jobs would be able to come. And it also opens it up a little bit more for the community as well. I think by having it a little bit later in the evening, we can pick that time that would be most appropriate for everyone.
I'll bring kosher donuts.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is that if we go with the model of stretching it out, that we work with some designated groups to get the word out on the street, so that it just won't be the usual suspects inviting people to the meeting.
I agree with that as well. And, along the lines of Casa San Jose, inviting them to this, making sure that they're aware of this too. What happens when your group of people is targeted, and how do you protect, and how do you make sure everyone's safe? So I think that's absolutely important as well. So do we need to take a vote on to move it to the public, or can we just make that decision offline?
I think it would be good to have something on the record. This would also serve as part of the public notice that we need to give for when shifting a commission meeting from our regular meeting place and time to a different meeting place and time.
Great. So may I have a motion to move the August meeting to a public location in the evening? We're going to tentatively say it's the JCC, and we're not quite sure of the evening time, but it will be in the evening. May I have a motion to move the August meeting to a public in-person setting?
Would you accept an amendment to your motion that would indicate that the next public meeting will be in
I'm
the,
accepting your motion however you say it. So I'm just asking for a motion.
okay. We want to include members of the Hispanic community in our next scheduled meeting after this one. That's a little crazy, but you get my point.
So motion to move next month's meeting to the public and also continue this momentum of bringing groups into, right? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner King seconds. Anyone have anything else to discuss about this?
I do think it's important to acknowledge, like, there's a lot of pain and fear out there right now. And obviously within the queer community, specifically the trans community as well, that we want to make sure that we're also centering them in these ongoing conversations. We do not want to get into obviously the Impression Olympics or anything of that nature, but I do think, there are 3 specific populations that I feel like are really being attacked right now. And I just wanted to make sure that there was space to say that third population that is under quite a bit of very, very aggressive legal and public attack right now by this administration.
Right. And I think I think that only adds more to the importance of putting these things in the community, being boots on the ground, and seeing our faces in these communities and letting people, because that's what it's about, right? Community and knowing that we're stronger together than we are apart. So, so we have the motions. So all in favor of moving our August meeting to a public location in the evening with hopes that as many commissioners who can attend will be there, and we will hammer out those details. But putting it officially on the books, please say aye.
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 Aye. And I saw Alberto already eyed it. He was a little ahead of the game.
Aye.
So now he's re-eyeing it. So anyone opposed? Right. And that's everyone on the call. So motion carries. We'll be moving our August meeting to the public setting. Commissioner Gibson, if you can work with the JCC to
I'll work with the JCC with you and with Rachel to make sure we're all on the same page.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for taking that into account. I appreciate it.
And just to affirm, because I didn't want to talk about my own idea, anything that supports the Chinese community, the Korean community, the Hispanic community, the Muslim community, anything that gets us out in public is good for the commission because they know about us, but also affirms our commitment to their well-being.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all, commissioners. Does anyone else have any new business to discuss?
I move for adjournment.
Thank you, Commissioner Gibson. May I have a second? Oh, wait.
Would we like to know the executive committee?
Oh, right. Hold that adjournment.
I thought we were doing a
Yes, I will
cliffhanger for
pass it
next
over
month.
to you, Director Shepherd.
For 1 minute. Okay, so our chairperson for 2025-2026 is Tiara Collins. First vice chairperson for 25-26 is Genevieve Rossolo. Second vice chairperson is Richard Morris. Treasurer is Carlene King. And secretary is Alberto Benzakin.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's agreed to serve on the executive committee.
Yes.
And now I feel like I'm wrapping it up. I'm going to say, let's go in peace. I'm accepting the motion from Commissioner Gibson for adjournment. May I have a second?
I second the adjournment.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning? We just
Aye.
Aye.
All right, then the meeting for July 7th, 2025 is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.